course. Okay, thank you. Ευχαριστώ. So, my Greek is reasonably okay, but during my holidays, I'm Angelika, Angeliki in Greek. I have a Greek roots. My dad is Greek, my mom is Dutch, and actually I started studying Greek to understand my grandmother when I was about 18 years old. And at the moment when she unfortunately passed away, my Greek was fair enough and good enough to have discussions with her and talk about the childhood of my father, which was very great. So my name is Angeliki, Klidas. I live in the Netherlands. I'm married, have 3 children, and I'm actually a data fanatic. I teach already for about 13 years now at the University of Applied Sciences in Amsterdam, in the minor BI and analytics. For the last 4 years, I've been a CLIT luminary, worked for about 25 years for a governmental organization called UWV, which is something like the ICA in Greece. In my spare time, I love to walk in the mountains. I love diving. I'm a scuba diver, master instructor. And the last years, I have been working in the commercial work field and started in June this year at 2Foqus, which is a data and analytics company in the Netherlands here. And as a manager education, so my exact goal is to open up a completely new vertical with data and analytics education, which is fun because I'm a data literacy fanatic. So if you look at data all around us, it's everywhere. It's in your applications from the Piraeus Bank, it's in your Spotify subscription, it's the stock market, even you have the Greek weather app, which I also found, and you have all those smartwatches on, even Amazon, if you buy a book or a video or whatever, they immediately know what your interests are based on your search options, so they will give you some advice. Maybe you like this part. And Netflix knows exactly what we are looking at and which genre you prefer. So data is in our daily lives, and actually we're not always aware of it. And that's the fun part of it. We use a lot, we have a big mountain of data, and we are not aware of how much do we make in data, which is very funny, actually. But also in our work environment, we have Scrum boards, we have Excel files, we have visual performance management on the walls, and we have sometimes some fantastic tools like ClickSense to show us the data from our company and to try to make decisions that are necessary. So before I get into my story around data literacy, I would like to take you to a fun story, how sports use data, smart data, to become more intelligent. And I would like to tell you the story about the Oakland Athletics. The Oakland Athletics is a baseball team based in the Americas, and they had this challenge because all the players were leaving the team. And I hope the film will work in Zoom. I didn't test it, so let's try. And Cleopatra, can you tell me if it's working? Okay. And if you can hear it?
No, we can't.
You can't hear, right?
No.
No. Okay, so I will stop it and then we go immediately to the sheet, to the following sheet. So the Oakland Athletics, they were a baseball team in the US. And as you can see on the right side, they had this team salaries which were quite low. They were on almost the lowest side of the graph. And their goal was to win as many games as possible, of course, and to become a champion eventually. The challenges were that they have limited budget. You can see that also in the salary. And the best players, they were there, they were scouted by the other teams, and they would leave at the end of the season to join a bigger team to get a better salary. And there was a big pit actually around all that sports team with data. And loads of data was available. And some guy, Billy Brandt, Peter Brandt is his name, he met Brad Pitt. He is playing the head character in the movie, and he was an economics graduate from Yale, And he had this kind of algorithms to get things back to one number. And they took care of the fact that they were able to make decisions based on data, based on insights from data, and not on the gut feeling anymore, and not by, oh, I see this player playing and he is actually very good, so let's buy him. No, actually getting things back to one number and hiring the best players available without biases. So they formed this team, let the data speak for them, and they did not win the championship, but they broke an all-time record of winning 20 matches, 20 games in a row, which was actually fantastic. So actually what they did was they grew from data to insight and made data-driven decisions, which is very, very, very clear. And it all starts actually at a point, if you look at an organization that wants to be working with data and analytics, it starts with the question, what happened in my organization? How many products did I sell? How many visitors came to the ER? How many patients do I have at the ICU? A very hot topic at this moment. And that are completely legitimate questions. And that's the situation where you want to understand the current situation within your environment. And when curiosity starts, and I hope it does, you want to start searching, okay, but why are the number of products sold this month different than the products I have sold last month? Or why do I have more visitors in the ER than last month or even the month before that? And then you will start finding out why things happened within your organization, and you are identifying the factors that are influencing your numbers. But on this particular part, there comes something up, which is called data governance, because the reports, the dashboards that we are showing are usually sometimes filled with garbage. And garbage in is actually garbage out. And there you will find the need to investigate and to invest maybe in a controlled data environment with any tool that you prefer, with any process that you prefer. But it needs to have a place within your organization. And if you are growing more and more into the analytics world, and Martin just showed a fantastic graph, you will ask yourself the question, what is about going to happen within my organization? Or how many customers can I expect coming year? I did a very nice project for a healthcare organization, some healthcare organizations here in the Netherlands. And we made some predictions based on R. Now we can use the fantastic Vislip extensions, of course, but we made some very nice insights in predicting how many visitors would visit the ER, and by year, by month, and by week, or by quarter. And actually, they were able to plan their budgeting and the number of staff they had to have in the ER department. Very, very good, and about 95%, which is fantastic. And then the part starts that you want to know how you can let things happen. For example, we have all these sensors in a machine, and this machine shows some kinds of behavior, and it's triggered through our analysis with the dashboards and the reports. And from there, we can automatically order a part for the machine and to plan the maintenance for this machine. So, you know, these are fantastic things. How can you make things happen based on data? Fantastic. And then the last one, understanding analysis and be innovative. I worked on some fantastic projects in the last 5 years with the people went to an eye doctor, and there were photos made from the eyes of a patient, and we could recognize, based on photo material and algorithms, 34 eye diseases to report about. So that's fantastic things. Machine learning, I think, is here to stay, and but you have to take care, because if you want to start at the artificial intelligence side, and you are not able to report about the things what happened within your organizations, I think it's better to have a kind of base at the first part and grow easily, and then you can come over to the artificial intelligence part. So, but dashboarding and reporting is one. But if you do not understand what you are looking at, then it could be a lie. And a lie may take care of the present, but it definitely has no future at all. So what I would like to show you is some graphs I found on the internet, some graphs I made from my experience, to tell you the story, to understand and address the fact why you need to become data literate. I'm not saying that you are not. Everybody has a basic level of data literacy, but you have to recognize things within you, the graphs that we show you. So let's go to Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump, the President of the United States of America, posted a Twitter message on the 5th of June, 2020. And here he is showing 5 months from different years. August 50, August 52, March 46, September 83, and May 2020. The year 2020, which is a hard year, even and especially for the Americas. And Mr. Trump says, greatest top 5 monthly job gains in history. We are number one. Well, first of all, we do not see the complete history of job gains, but actually he forgot something. He forgot something to tell. He didn't tell all the facts that were necessary, because as one of my friends, John Swabish, said, and he's writing a book which is published, I think about February next year, Visualization Expert, blow your mind off. And he fixed the graph for him. And actually in America, in April 2020, more than 22 people lost their jobs. So he was misleading the public again. The most important month where more than 20 million people lost their jobs, and you're not addressing that and say that you are number one in job gains. This is misleading with data. And I have another example. So this one. We see here a graph, and a graph with year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. We see an extremely steep growth, and it looks like we have a huge increase in sales. But is it true? Because we have one specific rule in designing graphs, and that is that we need the y-axis to show the values. And somebody chose not to do this. So we will go back to our developers and say, okay, you need to put the y-axis. And then my consultant is putting the y-axis in. And then we see a totally different picture, because it doesn't seem what it is. If we look at the first graph, we saw that it's a huge increase in sales, but it doesn't seem what it is, actually. And then the basic rule is that we always have to start at 0. A bar chart needs to be starting at 0 all the time. And why didn't they do it here? Did they want to create a more dramatically positive image? I don't know, misleading with data again. And then the third one, when it's adjusted. And then you can see it looked like in first blink of an eye that we had an humongous increase in sales. And then we added the y-axis, and then we started at 0. And the sales is actually not, the growth is not significant at all. And this is how you get misleaded with data, or insights created from data. And if you have the basic skill set of data literacy, you will notice this instantly. You will recognize it instantly. And that is so important, so we did not get misleaded. Of course, you have to have some background information, but you need to know how graphs look like. So, and if you look at data literacy, it's the ability to read, to work with, analyze, and argue with data. And it doesn't matter what your role is within an organization. You have to be able to analyze. You have to have that clarity. You need to interpret the graphs and the visualizations from spot on. You have to be communicative. So you have to narrate, and you have to design your dashboards properly. And a very good skill set is that if you could do some data storytelling, that would be fantastic too. That is data literacy from that perspective. And if you look at some examples from my experience, my all-time favorite project is Call to Balloon. / cold to needle, which is 2 healthcare projects. And actually what you see here in about 8 pictures is the complete process of this cold to balloon project. It starts with a person that has heart issues. 112, the emergency line is called, and an ambulance is driving up to the patient to stabilize him and make a ECG to see what is going on with the heart. The patient is stabilized and moved into the car again and transported to the hospital. And in the hospital, the surgeons or the heart surgeon is actually performing the surgery and putting the stent into the closed veins of the patients. That's the complete process. But if you visualize it into a process schema, you can see it very easily where the times are. You can see how many minutes steps took. And I love to combine in projects the vertical driven approach and the horizontal driven approach. Vertical is working with KPIs and horizontal is working with processes. So what you see here is the process combined with KPIs. On top you see 1 hour, 90 minutes and 30 seconds or 3 minutes. Cold to balloon, the KPI is mandatory in 2 hours. You have to have performed the surgical stent placing bounded by the Dutch Authority of Healthcare. And it starts all with the call to dispatch. 112 here in the Netherlands. You will tell them there is a problem here with this person, he has heart problems. The ambulance goes on its way and the steps are taken. The big improvements that we made here is that the dispatch will take the number of the person that is called and the person is getting called back from the ambulance. So they saved a lot of seconds there. The second achievement that they did was the ECG. They make it more quicker to save minutes or seconds. And the transmission in the hospital is made not through the ER, but directly to the CAT room where they perform the surgery. And the biggest achievement is not driving a car or handing over the patients to the CAT room. The biggest achievement in time, they found that the CAT room was not ready for the following patient. So what they actually now agreed upon in this region, it's the region North Holland North, that the CAT room will always be ready for the next patient, always. During the day, during the night, during the weekend, during Christmas, Christunjana, or whatever. That's the biggest achievement. And actually, they started to improve again and again and again, because we also had the data. When did a symptom occur? So when did somebody was experiencing the heart issues? And by all means, 6 hours, 5 minutes and 59 seconds, that's a lot of hours, and maybe even too late to call the ambulance or get the treatment. So here we found out 6 hours, 5 minutes and 59 seconds, people had already the complaints. So they made all kinds of campaigns on TV, on posters outside to address the importance of when you experience heart issues, please call 911 or please call your doctor. So a very nice improvement which they did. And they, the safety region from my region, North Holland North, they won the public award and the professional award and became the smartest organization in the Netherlands. That was about 2014. And why? Now, because they focus continuously on improvement based on insights created from data. And the good part is that they have 3 parties working together externally to work together and improve in the complete process, in the chain. And well, look beyond your borders, very, very important. And the data literacy skill set is high. And you saw them growing from easy and simple graphs to more complex statistical graphs. And they saved more than 20 minutes in the process, which is fantastic and phenomenal. And I'm so proud of this customer. But data literacy is also dare to decide not to do things. You see here a wrap of a small part of my COVID-19 dashboards. And I wrote an article about it. You can find it on LinkedIn. Why I am not publishing the numbers. This project took me a lot of time. I was recovering from a brain injury at the beginning of this year. I still am, by the way, but and my therapist, my cognitive therapist told me, please try to start doing your analytics work again. So that's why I decided with a friend of mine, he built the back end of this application and I did the front end. And I started to train my brain again. And then I was looking at the numbers, I was looking at the stories, I was looking at the, I was reading so many articles about it. And as I found out, the numbers are not correct, and especially in the beginning, and especially here in Holland as well, because not everybody was tested. One of my friends, his daughters became sick, and they told her when she came into the hospital, yes, you have COVID, but we will not test you. My friend got sick as well. Yes, we think most definitely you have COVID, but we are not going to test you. And now everybody is tested and we see the numbers rising, unfortunately. And I'm very worried about it, but it made me stand firmly behind my decision to be critical and about my dashboard and about the numbers. So I decided not to publish about the COVID numbers. It's bad enough. But what I did publish about, and where I used the fantastic Vislib extension as well to add more value into my graphs, was the number of flights, because I collected by hand all global flights from this last year, from the 1st of January until now. And that was actually also interesting because you saw the drop, and I added more information for my viewers and for people who are looking at my and join me in my Click Cloud environment from school. And we are looking at it and we are discussing things about okay, when was the first infection somewhere? So I collected from every country, I collected the first confirmed case of COVID, and I have put it in the graph. Also, I have put here the flights, because the issues that occur due to the pandemic is not only that we have this terrible lung disease, but also a lot of people are losing their jobs in the companies like KLM, like US, like I think even in Greece, because we are not flying anymore. People are losing their jobs there. So the circumstances are very bad. But also, what do you think about the hidden things that are terribly going on, like abuse, people who have no money anymore, the economics. So that is better to talk about than the numbers of the COVID pandemic, I think. So here we used the Vislib line chart to add the forecast area therein, to use the annotations, to use the KPI object to give more value to the dashboard. And I did the same actually with the pursuit for a vaccine or medication, if you look at the clinical trials data. So here we have actually again a Vislib line chart. Again, added the annotations, and what I found very interesting is that there are still peaks going on with new trials that are started. And I discussed this graph many times with my Greek friend. He's a doctor, Nikos Volakakis, and he works for a pharmaceutical company in Denmark. And well, we have many discussions about the vaccine. And what he told me is that the phase 2 area is very important. From his opinion, it's the most important phase of the clinical trials, because there you will find out if there is a toxicity for patients. So if it's not, then you know you can go to the next phase, and that is testing it actually first on smaller bits and now on bigger groups of patients in that pursuit. So very interesting as well. And if you grow into the data literacy world, and if you are going on the journey, then you have to, so let me check. Okay, I have 1 minute to go, but I'm almost ready, Cleopatra. So it starts with, how can I work with data? And from there you have to form your data strategy, and then you are starting to develop that analytical mindset. And it starts with easy graphs, line charts, bar charts, tables, and you can add some more value with it with Vislib. And from there you will start growing into more advanced visualization. And then curiosity arises, and you will ask hypothetical questions. And from there, you can grow to more extensive analysis. And that, my friends, is, I think, my presentation. So do you have any questions? I will stop sharing my screen. You can link with me on LinkedIn, Twitter, ask questions. I don't mind. There are no questions. Okay, λοιπόν, ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. Να προσέχετε και θα τα πούμε. Γεια.